Artlist.io.
Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mail, now they coming with a blaze.
Music licensing reimagined.
I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the pace. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all I swear I got is what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for being on the eCarrierCheck show. Excited to be here, man. It's Friday.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, Nate and I have just been on the struggle bus.
Gosh, ain't that the truth, man?
It has been a heck of a week, man.
Yeah.
Just we're sick or what a hot potato.
Yeah.
It's been a hot potato of a week.
I know, man. But it's been a good week, you know what I mean? And I can't complain.
Yeah.
We're making it through.
A lot of learning this week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would say that if you were gonna put a title on this week, it's humility. You know, it's been just kind of a what can I do? To make lives better, and you just have to kind of keep going.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree, man.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things I learned about today, or not today, but just this week. It's just, people are in their own journeys, and you're close to your goals. You just don't know how close, but you just got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
From sales calls to building relationships. I had some interesting sales calls this week, which I love. But we just got to keep pushing and don't take anything personal.
Yeah, I think that's just to kind of clarify what Nate is talking about. Nate and I were doing cold calls with the brokerage here, and what an interesting time to be doing cold calls. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But you got to do them, in my opinion. I think it's the best. Give us a rundown, Nate. You're talking to a broker. They were fairly close geographically to us, and boy, she was different.
Well, there's just and I'm sure shippers are like this too. We don't call it shippers, right? We call it freight brokers, but they just had everything in place, right? Without getting too much detail, they had everything in place. Yeah. I kind of got questioned, but I felt like I bounced back from that. And after that, I tell you what, man, I was like, all right, I was in a weird space. You know what I mean? Like when someone tries to knock you down, and you're kind of like, I know what you're trying to do.
Tried.
I'm not going to let you do it. But what I did after was I'm going to make another call and end it on a good sesh. So that was good to, kind of move forward.
Yeah,
but,
get past the boat, man. She was pretty brutal. I think she had a rough day at cold calling.
I think so too.
Or to be honest with you, she may be at that point in her career where she just may not be doing cold calls.
Right.
So.
But it was nice to see. It was nice to see her get together with those brokers and listen to them make cold calls to shippers. They have a set time they do it, which I like. And like you said, it's just kind of hit or miss. Yeah. But you got to keep doing it. Yeah. But it was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, something I thought was interesting. We were talking to our programmers this week about, our risk radar and what they're seeing as far as, the double brokers are getting a little more, they're just getting a little better at their jobs.
They're finessing a little bit better.
They're adapting to these risk radars and adapting to those things. So one of our programmers decided, well, let's go look at, our data and see what we can see. And it was really interesting. I mean, it was the list he pulled off, that he just pulled off. He went through all of them, and here was something that, kind of threw up a cautionary flag. Okay. I think the list was around 4,000 carriers. It was maybe a little bit more. And it actually showed that these trucking companies were alive. They went inactive for a bit, had inspections, right? And then afterwards, after they became back alive, they haven't had any inspections since then.
Yeah, and that's a red flag, right? I mean, you would assume that freight brokers are taking a look at that. and maybe some aren't thinking of that, but I'm glad that we're kind of talking on this. We're hitting on this because it could cause a red flag, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And most trucking companies, they're not really letting their company go inactive, right? They're keeping that alive.
They normally do. I mean, there's not necessarily, you wouldn't necessarily, unless you're struggling with an insurance payment or something like that. But to see that many people go inactive, and some of these inactivities, I mean, there was a minimum of a week, but potentially were longer, 30 to 60 days.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden it's like, what do you do? Should you be using those guys or not?
Right. And honestly, if you're finding someone local to you, I would probably go and just check in on things and meet face to face, right? But
boy, I tell you what, doing your due diligence in today's market is so important. Making sure that you're just taking the time to, yes, there's a lot of vetting tools out there, but making sure that, do the phone numbers match up, do the emails match up? Right. We talked to a guy, was it yesterday or the day before, where when they're sending a setup packet to the email that those people did, they're also including the FMCSA email as well, and just saying, hey, here's this. And in some particular cases, like, wait a minute, this is a scam or not, so that's an important aspect.
Yeah. And if you guys have questions today, that's what it's for. Hey, good morning, Ryan. Thanks for being here.
Ryan, what's up, brother? How's it going, man?
But that's the beauty of our software, our system is, we have these guys that are power users of the auto assistant, right? So what that is, when you post a load and it goes haywire, well, you can see, Moses said check for VVIP numbers for sure. Yeah. But you can see what these numbers are calling in on. I'm glad he said that. And then you can double check that with the FMCSA data, which we have on our site. Right. And then maybe call the number on our site. Just hey, I had someone calling and we've had that happen, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's good to take that extra step. I know time is money.
Oh, yeah.
But making the bad decision is also money.
And you can check. There's a lot of free sites that offer this. Is it a voice over internet phone, I believe is what VoIP stands for, I believe. But you can check to see, are these real, actual friggin' phones or are they not? So definitely something to continue to monitor, especially as the spot market, which is where the double brokers live, right? They're not in the contract. It's not like Pepsi's sitting there going, if we could just get another double broker to run loads for us for 12 months. It's not that. It's anything off the spot market, right? But you got to think that, I mean, if there was 4,000, 5,000 plus of these carriers still out there, we still haven't seen the end of the bottom of the drop here in my mind. You know what I mean? Yeah. So more carriers will continue to go out. Although this week I did see that it was a positive week as far as how many carriers were either going out or coming in. It was a positive week. Haven't seen a positive week for a while. On eCarrierCheck's dashboard, we actually show that. We also show fuel, things like that. So that's a benefit. So
yeah. And if you guys missed our show with the Logistics Lounge crew, go check out our latest. They had some really good insights on what they do to protect themselves. Yeah, and they have some good sales strategies. Hunter, he's not the cold call type. He likes to do other things, right? Yeah. And that's okay. It's working for him. Yeah. But check out that video. They have some really good insights. But other than that, I really love their idea about how they go, about checking phone numbers. Yeah. Just taking that extra step is super important. And, carriers go through a lot too, right? I mean, we don't really talk about carriers a whole lot, because your background is more of the broker and you did work with the brokers with Asset, but, well, that's why we need to get a carrier on here ASAP, and let's dig deep. Let's pick his brain.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go deep.
Let's really get into the carrier broker relationship from that side of the seat, right? So we're meeting with some good people. We'll bring them on.
We are. We had an opportunity to meet with the carrier this week, and we just talked shop. We talked a lot about his business, how he's finding things, his feelings on risk radars. He runs a brokerage on the side as well, right? And depending on the risk radar, some people may look at that as a
red flag.
Whoa, right? Just kind of hold on, and so I know it puts a little hesitation when a broker books a load with a carrier that also has a brokerage because of all the craziness going on in this world, right? I mean, you don't know what's going on. So it was really interesting to talk with him and just get a feeling with him. The other person I really enjoyed and some lessons that I learned were, we got on the phone with a couple of brokers out of Wisconsin this week.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys, honestly, they just, they're so ingrained in the trenches. They're past that. I need a new client. They're at the beginning stages of their journey,
Right.
And they're like, "What are we doing wrong?" And it's so interesting to ask yourself that all the time. What am I doing wrong? Why am I not winning? And looking back at that conversation, and they're winning. They've got, I don't remember what the total sales were. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it was, they were living at 15% margin. They were, 6-figure company. And he was, he already had a guy that he's been kind of training ish. Hey, if I can get a little more revenue, I'm going to bring you on as a sales guy. So in my mind, I know sometimes it doesn't feel like you're winning, but you got to just take a step back because they didn't see it.
Right. One thing that stuck with me that you said, and I keep telling this guy, you need to write a damn book, but you need to have more opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Give yourself more opportunities. And that's why, you mentioned something about continue to make 100 calls, exhaust your LinkedIn, connections or so that stuck with me. Give yourself more opportunities. The more no's, it's okay to get all these no's, but that 100th call could have been that one to change your life.
I did think it was interesting. They were so caught up.
Oh, well, Michael's back. Baby.
Michael, what's up, brother?
Drive?
What's that?
He goes, is the drive the most important part of the sales?
It's either that, or it's just your mental attitude, right? The drive, it could be the same aspect, I suppose, but you've got to take it with a grain of salt and just kind of keep going, Right. I don't know why I'm sitting so far away. I feel like I should sit closer.
We're both sick.
You've got that hot quarter zip on, and I can't get enough of it. I think it's more important to just stay consistent. You know what I mean? Like, gosh dang it, drive and consistency, and just kind of go, I know I'm not making it, but I got to get there. I got to keep going. And these two guys, this is what I thought was probably the most interesting thing. They just lost 2 RFQs back-to-back months. Okay. It was like October, November. And you could tell that was it. It almost like took the air out of their sales. And I'm like, you got to go and get told no on 100 RFQs. You got to the opportunity. Michael, just out of curiosity, when was the last time you participated in an RFQ? You know what I mean? Like a request for quote. Michael's grinding out there trying to get his first account, I believe, or I don't know your full situation here, but he's out there, he's grinding, he's trying to find an account, and hasn't connected with anybody yet. He might go try, that outside sales approach and see if, it's harder for people to say no when you're in person. But I told these guys the same thing. They were from Wisconsin, really interesting guys. It's like, if you want to own the market that you're in, and they were very niched out. I loved how niched out they were. They have the drive too. They have the drive. I was like, you've got to make more of a presence in your niche, in your market where you're at, and just kind of keep going. And I loved, if you guys are watching today, cheers for you fellas. I think it's really important to enjoy the journey, because I know everyone always says, man, if I could just get one more account, or if I could just save another 100,000, or if I could just have this car, life would be so much better. And then if all of a sudden, I got to tell you something that's so unique, and I haven't read his email here, or I'll read it here in a second. But when all of a sudden you have what you've been dreaming about, but you forgot to enjoy the journey, I think it's so important. Okay. So do you get back pain from sitting all day? If so, any tips?
Oh my gosh. I'm not a chiropractor, but I got one of those little roll things. You just roll your back. I had back surgery when I was 8, so I've had back pain my whole life. I love the question.
I think it's kind of funny. I think here's something I do recommend, Michael, is emotion is created from motion, right? And so I think when you're making calls, don't be afraid to stand up. Don't be afraid to be walking around the room. Don't be afraid to get your body in a more physical state. If you've ever done a Tony Robbins seminar, you know why he gets you guys all fired up and gets you to an alpha state or a peak performance state is because you get that alpha brain sort of functionality. So if you're getting back pain from sitting all day, stand up. Get a stand-up desk or make your calls and do that. Tire Killer.
What's up, man?
What is going on?
What do you do for back pain? Tire Killer, do you get back pain at all?
Now, this is the guy we should ask about back pain.
This guy's always on the road. He's always working.
He's always driving, man. This guy is just a friggin' beast. I don't know how many miles you put. How many miles are you putting on a week? Are you 3,000 kind of guy?
I believe it, man.
I bet he is too.
I bet his back hurts too.
He got on. So this is kind of funny. We did the Logistics Lounge show. God, this would have been last. It's been Tuesday night, right? Tuesday night at 6:30. All of a sudden, about 9 o'clock, I see Tire Killer comment on our page. He's like, "I missed this."
Don't worry, man. We're gonna be back on a show with them. We're gonna collab again. Those guys are
awesome. Wild. Yeah, I love that. I think that I think those guys were a hoot. I definitely liked them. Next week is going to be wild. I think, is it next week or the week after? We have a special show. That'll be very entertaining. I'm excited about that.
21st.
Yep, the 21st. We're going to be, gosh damn, you're putting 720 miles. Do you ever have to take a leak? Like, you just no water at all? You just drink at night? Like, you're just pounding hydration every night? What the hell? But I don't know. In 2 weeks, we've got a shipping guy on. That'll be awesome. I'm excited about that. Next week, we have the CRM guy on.
Yep.
On Valentine's Day. So we're talking about love.
Oh yeah.
And what his love language is. You know what I mean? I'm excited to hear what he's got to say.
We got some interesting people coming on the show this month.
We do.
From the CRM to Ryan. He's another freight broker. He's gonna bring some value to everyone here.
720 is a good number though, man. You talk to some of these van guys, and they're like, if I could just do 500 a day. I'm like, what do you stop and friggin' eat Snickers bars all day at the truck stop? You got to get the wheels moving. Let's go.
I'd be interested to know what Tire Killer's favorite truck stop is. We got some pretty nice truck stops in Nebraska.
It would be interesting to know what his favorite. Like,
maybe
are you a
meet
Loves guy?
Yeah.
Are you a Loves guy, or are you like a Flying J guy?
What do you prefer? I love Flying J.
Yeah. I here's my only takeaway from this
okay.
is that I prefer Wendy's.
Okay.
And there's usually a Wendy's at the Loves.
That's fair. I'm
just throwing it out there. I don't know if that's right, wrong, or indifferent. But Michael says, any tips, Jared, that got your game from good to great? This is such an interesting question. I don't know if you've actually read the Jim Collins book, Michael, Good to Great. But it is a barn burner. I love that book more than anything Jim Collins writes is probably, I think I told Mike, was it Michael that was like, your books are terrible? He was like, don't read that book. Good to Great by Jim Collins is truly incredible. I think, honestly, it was the, what took me from good to great, or if you want to consider me that.
That's fair.
Got to keep the left door closed. I prefer none of them.
That's fair.
I get it. It is nice to have a clean bathroom, though. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm a big believer in just immersion, and what's taken me from good to great is that I've made more calls than most. Mm-hmm. I've had the experience on the asset side, and I've had the experience on the non-asset side, and I've immersed myself in both sides of it. And whether they were good situations or not, I learned from it and said, how do I make this a positive situation? Right. I've always had that mindset of positivity. And, you can always look at, I remember the brokerage I was with, incredible brokerage. I friggin' love those guys. And we lost our number one account over something that I did, by the way.
Yeah.
And I could have just went home and folded up and just said, I suck. I just caused this company the opportunity to go out of business. I could have just looked at the situation and said, this is I'm a terrible person. And I said, you know what? Forget it. Let's go out and let's find new accounts. Let's go out and prove that we can stick around. Yeah. And we watched our cash, and we watched what we did, and we turned it around.
Yeah.
And was it easy? Hell no. This damn industry isn't easy. If you think that eCarrierCheck is easy rolling, it's not. Every week we're grinding out that our programmers are grinding out code no different than cold calling, right? We've had hiccup after hiccup. I've made the dumbest decisions owning a software company. I'm really good at stupid decisions, but I own up to them. I'm not right every time. And I think what's really important is that you just keep going. You just keep pushing. And things may not be great, but you just got to keep pushing. And I love that. You know what I mean? I think that's really important.
And I think we all have different journeys, right? You know, if you look at one of our videos with Will Jenkins, you know, he started sales at a young age.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
many people do that at a young age. You know, I haven't been in sales, you know, I think maybe almost 10 years, maybe. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm 30, so put me at 20, but you know, he started at 16.
Right.
And he really had to grind his teeth and grind. You know what I mean? So I think, like you said, just kind of keep pushing, take it day by day, even if you fail or, you know, mess up.
Keep feeding your mind too. I think that's really important.
You say, you know, Michael, another good question here too. They say you need 13 touches to contact a customer. Would you be better off contacting 13 different businesses instead of the same one? You know, personally, with the sales I got into before coming to this industry, it was the consistency of reaching out to those families more than once. I was in, you know, mental health field, and reaching out to the family 13 times, letting them know that I was serious about their family and helping them.
Yeah.
I think so. I personally think reaching out to that customer 13 times it's a good idea. Yeah. You just, you know, every day's different for everyone. I
agree.
Maybe they lost a freight broker tomorrow and you followed up tomorrow, or, you know, maybe their business plan is starting to go a different way. So I don't know, but you've been in this situation.
Yeah. I think you run in parallel. I think you need to be reaching out to those 13, and then all of them just keep pushing. Yeah. And eventually you're going to be told no, or it ain't going to work.
And you know when to cut those ties.
You know when to cut those ties. Maybe you throw them on your no list. And in August, guess what? Let's go back out and start to reach out to some of those no's and see what happens. Right. You know, the company I used to work for, the asset company, right? Credible company. We had the opportunity to go after a lot of different accounts. And that company, you know, you always think, well, it's an asset company, you can sell anything, right? And it was interesting. I remember when I first started, they said, you know, we had never brought on this account. And I said, well, what's been the challenge, or what's always been the no, if you don't mind me asking? And it was probably one of the most unique situations. They just said, well, we can't, you know, they always have turnover and we've never been able to really solidify a good relationship. And I said, well, let me take it on. And honestly, you know, we sat there and went back and forth with this guy. I would send him emails. I'd send him articles about his company. It was a publicly traded company. I would always send, hey, I love this, or hey, did you see this? Because some of these huge companies, you don't even know what's going on internally, right? You just have your nose to the grindstone. And so I made it a point to focus on building a relationship with that guy, whether we were going to get something out of it or not. Right. And I had no intention of, other than just seeing if I can help him. There was nothing in it for me. Right. I wasn't getting commission for making that cold call. I wasn't getting commission for sending that email, sending that letter, sending those news articles, right? Driving down the other end of the state to do all those things, right? And a year later, he was like, hey, you think you can do something about this? And he sends me this random project. I mean, we're talking stupid. If you're watching. I'm kidding. But, and I was like, yeah, I think we can do it, right? And it was a quick hit. We didn't make a lot of money, but guess what? We were there for it. And then next thing you know, they were like, you know, we should just probably get set up, which is we'll go through the motions. Next thing you know, we built a wonderful relationship that lasted many, many years. Even through turnover, it was really a solid relationship. But, you know, try not to be the sales guy, Michael, that is, you know, a mile wide and an inch deep. Those touches need to be meaningful, and don't think about yourself every time. Think about how you can help them, right? Take that attitude of helping them. And I think that's really important. I really do.
Yeah. And I feel like you really just, the guy that you were talking about, he didn't feel like he was being sold to every day.
Right.
You're just trying to grow that.
I just was trying to grow the relationship.
Tire Killer. This is 5-star gas station right here.
TA Travel Center, Mount Vernon Mo, is really awesome. The owner and his son are always out there pumping your fuel and cleaning your windows. No, they're not.
Truck stop.
Store facilities, staff food is all top shelf.
That's awesome.
I can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody goes to that level, is Missouri one of those states where they pump the gas for you? I know I used to live in Massachusetts and you couldn't pump your own gas. That was kind of wild. Mainly because I was like, I'll get it. You you're all right. I don't need your help. And they'd get out and pump your gas, and you always
clean your windows.
You always felt like you should tip them. I don't. It was kind of a racket a little bit.
Yeah. We actually have one truck stop that does that, and some old guy was doing it, some older fella, and it was freezing. And I'm like, hey, go inside, give him a couple bucks, go get some hot chocolate.
I got you.
I can do it. I'm 25 years old.
Yeah.
Just go inside.
I got a young back.
Yeah, I'm good.
I love that.
I love that. That's
I love
awesome
that.
truck
No,
stop.
sir, just them. That's incredible. It's so incredible. I would be curious, what is your favorite dinner on the road? Are you having, I know we can't every night, but if you're going to splurge a little bit, a little cheat meal, right? Is there anybody that tops your cake for fried chicken?
Tops your cake.
Who's got the best fried chicken that's out there on which interstate? I'd love to know that. Yeah. I would. I just love fried chicken.
We just want to know what tops your cake, man. Okay,
that's fair.
Question for Jared, Michael. Have you ever seen a salesperson never get burnt out?
Oh no, you have to know when to refill your cup. You do. Here's the thing: is we get told no enough, we get slammed in the face. You got destroyed. Right?
Yeah.
This lady.
She went to my hard no section.
This lady, if you're a hockey player, she pulled the shirt over and just gave him a couple of them. And
I don't know.
There was nothing there.
I'm just sitting there like this.
It was brutal, man. She was a brutal person. I think she was just angry. She was an angry elf.
Yeah.
But, you got to know how to refill your cup, man. You do. You've got to know how. If you can't identify, if you're burnt out, you might be burnt out. But you got to figure out what can refill your cup. Yeah. And that could be taking a little time off. That could be going for walks. That could be working out. That could be eating a nice chicken steak. I don't know. I don't eat fried steak. I don't know what fills your cup. Yeah. My kids, my family, the people I've surrounded myself with, I love the people that are around me. And you become, that average, right? That old saying, you become the average of your, the 5 people around you. Boy, I've surrounded myself with some amazing people, and my family fills my cup. I hear the craziest stories ever. By the way, if you have never done this, they put out a study. The American Time study just came out, and it is wild. And I only got, my kids right now are 12 years old, and then I got a 9-year-old, but I only got 6 more years with my kids, and I only get to eat with them around the dinner table maybe 15 to 20 times a month, right? It's not every night. I don't get to do that. So if that's the case, and I only got 1,000 more dinners with my kids before they kind of leave me and mom and say, I'm going to go hang out with my friends.
Right.
That's it. And so every friggin' night, I love it, man. I'm addicted to my friggin' dinner table. Yeah. That's what refills my cup. I can't get enough of it. I can't. Yeah. It's just so much fun. So I can't get enough of it. My wife cooks my dinners for 2 weeks. What?
That's freaking awesome.
How does that work? How does she cook you for 2 weeks? You should see my fridge. It's for tonight.
I mean, you got a big family, so that makes sense. I'm assuming maybe you're keeping that frozen on the road. We need to get a GoPro on them. Just life of Tire Killer, man.
You know what I would love to know? Have you ever done any of those aluminum foil dinners on your car?
Oh my gosh,
I would just be so interested. I used to be Boy Scouts. I got to tell you this story. This is so damn funny. So here I am. My dad has been in Scouts for. He probably invented Scouts with Baden Powell or Biden, whatever. But the Powell guy out of London. But this guy's been in Scouts for 50, 60 years. Like, it's the wildest thing ever. I got an old dad. And there was an old Scoutmaster before, right? So I get into Scouts and I'm just this little kid and I'm like, let's go, pick up trash and help old people across the street, right? And we would go on these campouts. And do you remember the old Suburbans?
Oh, yeah.
The old ones? I mean, the front end of this thing, you'd lift up the friggin' hood and it was it was like a deep freeze, the front end of a Suburban, right? So we would sit there, and before we even left for the camp out Friday night, everyone gets off school Friday nights. We'd make these crazy hobo dinners in the parking lot of the church and put him on a rack he made in his Suburban in the friggin' thing. So here we go. We're driving down the road. It's 3 hours later to the campsite. We just open this thing up and it just smells like home cooking because we just cooked a pot roast and some carrots and potatoes as we're driving there in a friggin' aluminum foil, like hobo dinner. It was
That
this,
is awesome.
but this was like every weekend. Like, I'm like, what are we doing this weekend? I don't know, but I got some potatoes and steak and we're cooking on that Suburban.
Oh my gosh.
It was the wildest thing. I don't even know what
that
happened.
is out of control.
It was out of control. It really was. Honestly,
Oh my god.
Scouts was a wonderful experience for me. But I had one of those leaders that was like the man's man.
Yeah.
He'd kill a bear with a toothpick.
Yeah.
That kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, who's got duct tape? I'm gonna make a tent for you in 20 minutes. And it was the wildest things ever. Should cook 5 meals, 3 containers each, and then every other Saturday I keep them in the fridge. When I park, I pop one in the warmer. I love that. What's your favorite that she cooks? I would be curious of what your favorite meal is. If you could write a letter to your wife today, what would you tell her to do better? And what would be your favorite? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't want to get you in trouble. She probably watches the show too. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I love it. But that's honestly, I'm excited about the week. The week has been a week of just learning and growing. And has it been a perfect week? No. But we got here. We got a little more work to do today. And we just kind of keep going. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I always say we fight to see another day. You know what I mean? Just keep fighting.
Yeah.
Don't give up. You're close. I'm going to be reflecting back to those Wisconsin people we talked to because
oh my gosh,
they're so close to the end of the gold here. She's a great cook, and I'm pretty simple.
I love that.
You're a good guy, man.
I love that.
Yeah. But that's one thing I love about our platform is we can get you to that next level.
I agree.
You feel like you're so close, or you feel like you need to change something, maybe just tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
eCarrierCheck can be that tweak.
Yeah.
No matter what, you always have to put work in, right? You always got to pick up the phone.
You got to do it.
You always got to follow up.
You got to do it.
No one has a magic wand saying, hey, I need a freight broker today, or I need a carrier.
Yeah.
But we have really good leads that get you to that point where we find someone that's a good relationship for you.
Oh, yeah.
And like you say it every day, one relationship away from changing your life.
Doesn't matter what it is. Carrier, shipper, broker, doesn't matter.
Right.
They all have the opportunity to change your life.
Right.
Yeah.
But Jared, it was really good shooting the shit today.
Yeah, that's the show.
We kept it light. Oh,
DIY, what's up, brother? What's going on? Had a wonderful talk with this guy. This guy is something else. Really quality dude that's been around for a while. I can't get enough of this guy too. He drives, runs some trucks. I can't get enough of this guy. Yeah. Big fan of this guy.
Check out his channel. I mean, this guy has lots of content.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to provide value, just like us.
Yeah.
Trying to provide some value for the community.
Yep.
It's not an easy world we live in. And
no.
Not an easy industry. So.
No. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Thanks for being on. We appreciate it.